Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Drive. In today's video, I'm going to suggest you 5 books that are easy to read, and the most important thing about these 5 books is that they are under 200 pages and can be read very quickly. So let's get started with today's video. The first book that I'm going to recommend today is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now, this is a Christmas story, as you can just see from the title of the story itself. It deals with a character named Ebenezer Scrooge, who's an old man and he's so cold and bitter due to his old age. And for the event of Christmas that year, his nephew invites him in order to dine, and he just refuses it. And he also behaves so rudely to people who come asking for donation for the poor. And at this time, a ghost, that is a ghost of his friend named Jacob Marley, comes and sees him that night and tells him that he'll be haunted for the next 3 days by 3 ghosts, and these 3 ghosts are going to be ghosts from the past Christmas and the present Christmas and the Christmas to come. And these 3 ghosts come and show him different scenarios or different visions which make him keep thinking. And will these 3 ghosts change the character of Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge? In order to find that, you have to read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now, this book was written like 2 centuries ago, and even now the things in the book are so easy to read. I'll not say that it is so easy to read. It is a bit tough because the language is old, and it is a short book, you can see, but the font of the book is so small because it is an old book, and in those days he was paid by the word, so he has to write a lot in order to earn something from what he writes. So if you go in that way, this book is a very small one by Charles Dickens, and this edition also has some illustrations in order to make you not bored while reading the story. And the story itself is not boring because you're going to get 3 visions from 3 different ghosts, that is ghosts from the present, future and the past, so it will not be boring at all at any instant. And another main thing about the book is that it can also be read by children. Not just adults can read it, but also children can read it. And because of this book, many of you will get into the habit of reading. It is not just old and classic, but it also has a magical vibe to it, which makes the story even more appealing to read. The next book that I'm going to recommend today is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Now, before saying anything about this book, I'll just read the tagline of the book, which is the most intriguing thing about the story, which is, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Now, Animal Farm is a book in which animals think like human beings, and human beings' thoughts are presented within animals in order to show the show the condition of the society very well. This is a very old book, and it was published very much ahead in time, and even now the concepts in the story are very much relatable. And I can say, if you read Animal Farm, you will not say that it is a bad book or it is a book of no use at any instant, because each and everything about the story or the book is a plus point. And the plot of the book is that there are farm animals which are mistreated by its owner, that is a human being, and a rebellion comes from the animals, headed by 2 pigs who are Napoleon and Snowball. And even after establishing a society that can be totally controlled by animals itself in the farm, it shows the outbreak of corruption, and how even animals' minds can be corrupted, or how corruption can wither in any society, or how it can just blossom in any society. So if you read Animal Farm, it is kind of a political book, and I definitely tell you, if you read Animal Farm, it is going to be one of the best books that you have read this year for sure. So please do read Animal Farm. The next book that I'm going to recommend today is a non-fiction book, and it is Ignited Minds by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Now, this book is kind of a memoir from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, in which he quotes out many of his experiences when he was the president of India, or while he was doing his scientific researches. Now, he also puts out many ways by which we can implement our skills in order to make the nation a better one to live in. We have not fulfilled his vision of attaining a developed country's status by 2020. But if you read this book, we can see how much it was possible to make that dream of him a reality. And if you want to read a book that is very much inspirational in kind, then go for Ignited Minds by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The last book that I'm going to recommend today is The Grown-Up by Gillian Flynn. If you ask me to recommend books that are short but they are not classics, or books that are not non-fiction, then it is a bit difficult for me to recommend because I've not read that many of such books. But one book which I'm sure that everyone mostly will like is The Grown-Up by Gillian Flynn. Like any of her other novels, this one is also a psychological thriller story which shows the life or the story or a small chunk of her life. In this story, we have a girl who has a very weird job. I'll not say what her job is, you just have to read the story. And once one of her customers, she asks her to check her house because that customer has some problem in her house. She just goes into that house, and she experiences many things that are a bit creepy and a bit spooky. And just like any other Gillian Flynn books, this also plays a lot with the reader's mind. It also keeps us guessing throughout the story. The writing of Gillian Flynn is always so pure and it is so crude. She doesn't refine anything while writing. She just puts them out as she thinks it, and it is raw. And that's the best thing about reading this book, because it is short and it also conveys the things which it has to convey within the small amount of pages that it has. So if you want to read psychological thrillers that are so short, then go for The Grown-Up by Gillian Flynn. That's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. Also subscribe to the channel in order to get more content from me. Thanks for watching.